Hey kids, this is StingRae72, back again, strive for 5, live for 5. I am working, multitasking, and I have a question about your faith or spiritual beliefs or whatever. Not necessarily what religion are you or anything like that, but okay, more so prayer or meditation. Do you guys pray throughout the day? If you pray, do you meditate throughout the day? I don't know that I know what the difference is because, and of course I can look it up, but I mean, humanly speaking, isn't prayer a form of meditation? You're focused during both. Your prayer is your quiet time, your time for reflection, your time to speak to whatever situation you want to speak to or and things like that. But isn't meditation the same thing? Are they one and the same? And I don't know. I mean, I hear more people speak about meditation than I do hear people speak about praying. And I think that, for one, church in itself gets a bad rep because a lot of people won't, as my pastor would say, put a period on what grandmama and them used to do. So it was like there was this parable or this story that he came with that my pastor had given us. He said this, for years and years, this little girl used to be in the kitchen with her grandmother, and she would cook a pot roast, and she would cut the ends off each. She would cut the end off each end of the pot roast, sit it in the pan, season it, put her potatoes, carrots, onions, and everything in there, and cook it. And then Sunday dinner was served. Well, she watched her grandmother do that for years and years. And then when she became an adult, she invited her grandmother over to eat dinner. So she was in the kitchen with her. And she would get the roast, clean it, cut the ends off, sit it in the pot, get her vegetables and everything like that. And her grandmother asked her, well, why did you cut the ends off? And she said, well, because you used to do it. She said, well, I cut the ends off because I didn't have a pot big enough to fit it in. So in that regard, at some point, you have to stop doing what you've seen people do and stop adopting that as your new regimen, and just start to do things on your own. And I asked, and I equate that to prayer versus meditation. Like I said, is it the same thing? I don't know. Like I said, I hear more people talk about meditating than I do hear people speak about praying. And I think that church and prayer and stuff like that has been messed up for ages because there are so many people in the church that people who are not in the church look up to or whatever. And they recognize that these people are human. These people, they fail, they curse, they lie and stuff like that too. They're human. But we look at them as the closest thing to God. So if we see that something like them, people like them fail or they have their issues, then we automatically attach that to the whole body of God, the whole body of the church and stuff like that. I think that's a way of people not going to church, not believing in what church, could do for you. I'm all over the place. I know what I want to say in my head and I'm scrambling it and I apologize. But I was thinking, because I was hearing someone speak earlier this morning about what they felt the difference between meditation and prayer was. And I thought that was a good question to bring because I really don't know what the difference is. I didn't think that there was such a difference, because in both, don't you, in meditation and in prayer, you use that as your quiet time. You use that as your time to reflect and to speak on things that you want, or be thankful for things, So is there really a difference? I don't know. I'm honestly asking because I have no idea. But I just thought that was something. I was thinking about that, and I just thought that I would bring that, I don't know, in the live. I mean, what do you think? Do you meditate? Do you pray? Do you do both? Do you want one or the other? Are they the same? I don't know. I'm all about finding out about different ways that people connect, with either prayer, meditation. I love learning about different religions and cultures, because I want to have informed I want to be informed about different things, and they always say in the Christian realm, you don't question God. And I'm thinking, why not? Not because I don't believe what I believe, but why shouldn't you be able to question it? If you have questions, why should you not be able to ask those questions or have those questions answered? Anyway, that's going to be the next thing I go on live and talk about, because that's something I've struggled with for years. I was not, I didn't grow up in a hugely religious household, but I did attend church, and, with sometimes a few times with my mom, but more often with my grandmother, and like friends of the family and stuff like that. As I got older in my teenage years, I would go to church with friends, and, get on the choir and stuff like that. But I've always had questions, and always wanted to do like a panel of, believers versus non-believers, and just have a Q&A, a serious dialogue, you know, and people would just be able to ask the questions that they want answers to, and just find out more, But I don't know. I always thought that was kind of wild, that you can't question God. I don't know. Is that even a scripture in the Bible? Or is that a man-made thing? Like, I found out that the vows that we take when we get married, that's not in the Bible. That comes from what? Some Roman Catholic, excuse me, some Roman book of something. I don't know. Whatever. But I'm StingRae72 on all social media platform. Let me know where you're watching from, what state you're watching from, or what country you're watching from. I post every day. I'm going live for 5 every day, live for 5 minutes, to grow my audience, learn more about people around the world, and meet new people around the world. So you'll catch me on for 5 minutes live every day. I'm almost at 10 minutes, but here I am, StingRae72. Thank you so much.